It really is. Oh my goodness, it is such a nice feeling to be back out here in the garden when it's not raining, it's not windy. It's absolutely the perfect gardening day. Being out here really is my happy place. It's not glamorous and it's not always productive, but I'm always happier once I've been out here. Now, I actually love the start of winter with the build up to Christmas, the darker evenings, and the excuse to come in early after the summer where you've been outside of what feels like non-stop, and it does feel earned at the beginning of winter. But January and February are a little bit different. And when you don't properly see the sun for weeks and the rain literally feels like it's never stopped, when the ground's completely sodden wet and every job feels heavier than it should, it starts to wear on you through those 2 months, and not in a dramatic way, but just quietly eating away. You might get slightly more irritable, slightly less motivated. Things that normally don't bother you can start to get on your nerves, or at least in our house that's the case anyway. And there's only so much indoor planning and sorting that you can do before you just need to physically be outside in the daylight again. And then March arrives. It isn't warmer yet, although it has been a lot warmer this week. We're still definitely going to get some frosts, and it's actually even been snowing today. And we might even see what people call a full spring, which I'm pretty sure that's what we've been in. But without doubt, there's a change in the light, and we notice that around mid-February. A little bit more in the morning and a little bit more in the night, and that really does something to you deep down inside. The days are stretching out a little bit further, and the garden doesn't feel closed down anymore at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the shift in light really does far more for your mood than any temperature or heat in the sun might necessarily do. But I can guarantee you soon enough we're going to be hankering after that as well. For 10 years we've been tending to this land here on the Smallholding, and we both still get very excited about the season starting, not just for the garden but for the whole Smallholding as a whole. And back then I probably planned for the garden a lot more than I do now, but not in a bad way, because I had endless patience, huge enthusiasm and a lot of naivety, and the planning that I've learned and done over all of the years is now just ingrained and just flows through my blood like everything else for here. So we don't have to write down as much as we do, and it comes a lot more naturally than it did then. But we had some cracking results back in those first few years, and I'm absolutely loving doing the videos where we're looking back over the last 10 years to see how things have changed. So here's to the excitement of March and another productive year in the vegetable garden, and I wanted to share one of the excerpts from an old gardener's almanac that I've got, and it says, "Here's the month when I trick myself into believing it's the start of spring, even when the chill is deeper than January. Yet this is the beauty of March, the hope, the optimism, that sense that everything is nudging forward. And there are the signs, stout shoots emerging on rose bushes, the fresh green of the tulip shoots, and the vanishing of the snowdrops and the winter aconites, whispering that a new season is near. With this comes the urge to clear away the remnants of the old year, dried leaves, dead stems, and prepare to begin anew. Unless a late snow argues otherwise, of course." And that's possibly the feeling that a lot of us are getting at this time of the year. After the hard winter, and I don't necessarily mean weather-wise, you start noticing the small signs. You want to get things tidied and you want to start again. So let's get going. Well, that was last year, and it's done as well, but I don't know if it's going to come off, because it's been on there that pretty long. I think remnants of last year might be with us for all of this year. I think that's good enough. Where's the arm work out? Right, what are we doing? Right, 28th of February, we're going to sort the gate because the hens keep getting in. Sets plant the first earlies. So over the 10 years that we've lived here, I have come to realise that if I don't write things down and then stick to my list, I'll just end up getting distracted. At one point, you remember Stephen bought me a hat that said I digress, because literally I would have an idea of what I was going to get on with rather than a plan, and then I'd just go off onto something else. I still do that every day, but I'm going to stick to what needs doing. This is the list, which seems to be bleeding into the board now that I've just washed it. So we're going to get the gate sorted. Well, when I say sorted, I'm going to block it because we've got young hens that can fit underneath it. I thought they were jumping over, but they can fit underneath it. And if I put the onion sets in, which is on the list there, then they're going to probably notice that and just end up taking all the onion sets out. So I'm going to block it for now, and soon enough they'll be too big to get under, but I'm sure they'll find a different way. So we need to figure that out. The onion sets need to go in. I have got 2 packs of onion sets, 50 each, but I'm also going to be doing onion seeds as well. Then we're going to get the first earlies in. I was thinking about putting some in buckets in the greenhouse, but then we're just going to be using compost, and that's so expensive. We've got the raised beds, and the only benefit would be that they'd probably turn up a little bit earlier, but I'm okay with that. So we're going to get first earlies in. Haven't chitted that, well, they've been chitting in the pack since I bought them, but I haven't chitted them specifically, and I don't have any main crops yet. I'm not sure what I'm doing about main crop potatoes this year. Having said that, the first earlies are just going to go straight in, and what will be, will be. So happy with that decision. Then we're going to get some broad beans in. Didn't get any in the autumn of last year, but they will soon catch up. They always have. So the tomatoes and jalapenos. So generally we'll do this around Valentine's Day every year, or a little bit after. I have done it in January in previous years, but then everything's in the house and it's just a complete mess and a bit of a show, you know what I mean? Anyway, so we're not doing that. We're going to get them in now, and again they'll catch up. And then I've got 3 bean beds three beds that we used for the beans last year, which I'll show you, which basically need weeding and just a bit of TLC. I'm going to hang that up for now. It's going to hide the jobs list, but we know what we've got to get on with. So I'm going to go and grab, I think we'll start with the onion sets after I've blocked up that gate. I'm looking at the hens that are thinking about coming under as we speak. So this is said gate. I actually think there might be 1 or 2 of the younger hens. In fact, she's not a young one. She's probably just trying to copy what they've done. I can't see any, but there were some in here earlier. They've probably gone back in. They do tend to go back in, but they're going under here. You can see what a disaster it looks in winter. Anyway, so I'll get something just to block that for now. But what I think they'll do is use this wood pile here to jump over and get into the tree. But at least it'll stop them for a little bit, hopefully. Oh, there's a young hen. Oh, I can't see, won't zoom in. Just running inside. Actually, might be a really quick solution to this one. Stephen was using this for the wheelbarrows to fill these beds the other week. And I think that might just fit nicely along the bottom of there. That's almost like it was meant to be, isn't it? You come out. Oh, perfect. That will literally do. That's just the job for now. That was an easy tick off the list. As I say, obviously not permanent, but hopefully they will be too big to get through there soon enough. And being out here for a good couple of hours this morning, if not longer, will mean that I can see if they do manage to jump over, or however else they might get in. My eyes are watering, the wind's just picked up. Right, onion sets. Sorry, totally misinformed you. I got 1 pack of 50 sets, and this is the variety, the Stuttgarter Giant. Really enjoy this variety. Really enjoyed that variety before. The other pack I forgot was the shallots, which I don't always have success with, but we still keep on trying, don't we? So there are 10 sets in there. So 10 essentially bulbs to plant, although that one doesn't look great. We'll have a look in a sec. The potatoes that I got are the international kidney, supposed to be a really tasty first early, and we will literally use these. You can use them for boiling chicken and bacon, but we will more than likely use them for boiling and then potentially baking. But yeah, they'll just be used with just salads and just sort of nice light meals as we move into the spring. That's the plan anyway. So I'm going to go and get the onion sets in first. I'll show you where we're going to put these this year. I've been thinking about it all winter long. And I've got myself a new pack of gardening gloves, which I was supposed to put on when I started doing the jobs and opening the shed up, and then totally forgot. So my hands are clean enough now. So I'm going to put these back on because putting the sets into the little set into the soil at the moment is absolutely freezing, and I'm going to be completely filthy, and I need to go in around lunchtime and make food for everybody. So they probably won't appreciate half the gardening, the food. Well, certainly not the soil anyway. Maybe what we grow in it. Now, in previous years, when I've put the onion sets in, we've always had success from sets in terms of them growing, but they do tend to bolt more easily than when we grow them from seed. But I don't like to just do one or the other. I like to do both where possible. But yeah, when I've put them in previously, I've had a few comments that have said you haven't put them in deep enough, which I believe has been true, because the birds essentially see them and pull them out, and obviously with the hens over there, they could do the same. So I'm going to put them in a little bit deeper. I've got a dibber to help me do that. I know I could just use my finger, and I do, but then we'll just probably end up doing that anyway. So we'll see, just because I want to try and make sure that I get them deep enough this year, but not too deep that they don't stand a chance to grow. Right, I need to get these muck heaps sorted out first. These are the compost heaps that we use as muck heaps for the ponies manure that we've got. And when you're coming out in the dark, which hopefully not for much longer, coming out in the dark and trying to tip the barrow with just a torchlight on your forehead, it's not as easy as it is in the daylight, so it's a little bit messy. I'm going to get tidied up and then we'll get them in. Let me show you the beds once I've done that, where I'm going to put the onions. So I'm laughing at myself because, well, I knew, like I say, that if I don't make a plan and a to-do list, then I'll just end up probably getting not a lot done, and just getting distracted, and at the end of the day think, well, that wasn't as productive as I thought it would be, and I can see why. So I was needing to go and get these tools so I can get the muck heap tidied up, and I was walking back over and I'll just do that, I'll just do this. No, concentrate on what you're doing. That's exactly how it happens. I'm terrible. But what I will do is keep those things in my head. Actually, I'll probably forget them, so I'm going to tell you guys now. I've got some ericaceous compost, and I need to take the top off the blueberry plants. We need to have a look at those. I think one of them's dead. Take the tops off the compost that's in there and put some ericaceous compost on, because I've got half a bag of it left there, so we may as well put it to good use. So that's one of the things that we need to do. And there's something else I've already forgotten. So yes, I will definitely tell you. So that's on tomorrow's gardening list, okay? Now, looking back at the old boys' almanac again, planting onions and shallots are essential jobs for March, according to this. It says, growing some vegetables can feel like an exercise in hope, months of waiting for the transition from tiny seed to a heavyweight cropper. Not so, though, when growing onions and shallots. If seeing is believing helps, then holding some firm, solid onion and shallot bulbs and pushing them into the soil is the gardening task for you. They'll grow best in soil that drains well, rather than heavy clay which is slow to warm up and drains poorly, although you will still get a crop if that's the type of soil that you've got. Pot growing does require regular watering for a long time. The advice is to plant the bulbs 2 centimetres or 1 inch deep and 15 centimetres or 6 inches apart. Cover them with a fleece until the plants have produced strong green onion shoots, or the birds will pull them out of the soil. Well, that certainly warmed me up. So those muck heaps are nice and tidy now. What I think I'm going to try and do is adapt how I'm mucking out so that I can use my granny cart that I got for my birthday and a bucket to basically wheel it out here and tip it in, rather than doing full wheelbarrows at a time, because I for one certainly can't lift a full wheelbarrow myself and tip it into the compost bay. That's why I had the front out, so that I could wheel a barrow up it, but it's not ideal because I certainly don't want to snap it and have to tell Stephen that I've done that, so I'll be in trouble. Anyway, so they're looking really good now. I'll try and adapt what I'm doing so that they stay like that, basically. Anyway, here are the onion beds, and I remembered what the other job was. So I was just about starting to show you what we're going to be doing, and then I remembered all of these bits on the floor as you're walking around to the muck heaps. That's what the other job is. So when we were cleaning out all of the beds in the barn, all of the pens in the barn, there was a huge load of barrows that came through here one after the other, and obviously inevitably certain things fell off them, so there's quite a bit of that I need to go around and tidy up, that you can see along here. So that was the other job, and that's why I saw it when I was on the way to the greenhouse. So not going to start on that now, even though it really needs doing. I'm going to get on and show you what we're doing with the onion sets, because they can then just sit away and start growing. These two beds here, in previous years, I've used those to grow different types of squash. This year though, we're going to use them for the onions. So what I think I'm going to do is put the sets in this bed. I haven't even worked out how many I think will go in here. Looking at it, it'll probably take a lot more than 50, so I might get the shallots in here as well. And then any space, we'll put the onion, the seeds that have grown, in there and in there once they come through. Some people get them in on Boxing Day. That's kind of a traditional day to get them in, but we're generally busy with other things on Boxing Day, and it's round about the middle of February when I start thinking about getting those in. And as I say, they tend to catch up. I'm quite happy to have onions staggered throughout the year. We've got bunching onions, we've got spring onions, we've got all sorts of different things going on, so I'm more than happy to be picking them or harvesting them at different times, whether it's green or for storage. So I'm going to get on with that now. Well, the gloves lasted all of 2 minutes. My hands got far too hot and I couldn't feel the onions, so we're back to no gloves. I will use them for, you know, when you're taking like the bean beds that I'll show you next, or one of the next jobs. I'll use them for doing stuff like that, but for putting onion sets in, I like to be able to feel the actual sets themselves. So this is what they're looking like. So this one's actually a little bit higher than the rest. Just looking at them, I'm quite pleased with how they've gone in. I'm not going to claim that they're in necessarily straight lines. I tend to do everything by eye because it takes 10 times longer to, you know, to put the strings across and stuff, which we did in the first year that we moved in. And it looks great and they come up lovely and it's very pleasing to the eye, etc. But in all honesty, I just love like the garlic here. That was all done by eye. It still looks absolutely fantastic in my opinion. Anyway, Stephen would absolutely use string if he was doing this, or something for the straight lines. So we've got 8 per row, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows in, and what I've done is just put this bit of board here so that I know the last row is to the right of the board. And what I'm going to do is just cover them up a little bit, and then just basically look back at the video if I need to remember what I've done. So these are the Stuttgart Giant. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's certainly how I do. One job done. I'm not sure if it came up on the video, so the tripod was there and I'm working just here in this bed, and this devil just brazenly walked up and started clucking away at me, and now she's talking to her friends on the other side of the fence. She's not even a young hen, she's the mother of the hen, so clearly it's hereditary. But yeah, she is one of those, she's a leghorn, and they basically they don't need to fly, they can just jump as high as they want. I'm gonna go and get the rake, but yeah, as soon as she sees what I'm doing and I turn my back, she'll go and investigate and think, oh, I'll have a little look myself to see, have a go at planting onion sets and dig them all up. So I'm going to rake them over now, and then chase her out. But she's had her wings clipped, which sounds harsh, but it's not. It doesn't hurt them at all. It's like us cutting out fingernails. And you clip one wing, and in theory that stops them from being able to fly. But these girls can jump so high that all of the fences, even the 6-foot ones, they're just taking the stride. So unless she's caged in somewhere, which we've done before, we've got like a greenhouse that's covered in mesh that we've used, but it's not really the nicest of lives, is it? I'll deal with her in a minute. So given that we're going to do both of these beds as onions this year, I think I will put the shallots in the edge of the other bed, just so that I know where they are, give them a bit more space. I'm going to go possibly down over instead of across. Don't know now. All I'm thinking is if I go across, I'll probably get a maximum of 8 in, because I'll probably space them about the same as the onions, whereas the bed this way is a bit longer, so I'd probably get all 10 in. That's all I'm thinking. I'll go and get them and I'll decide. that's them. Actually, they're pretty disappointing from a garden centre that's a well-known one. Certainly got mould on the skin of some of them, which I have had before, and it hasn't affected the final result, but I'll give them a go. I am going to do them along here because then that's going to mark where I'll have all of the other onion rows basically. I'm going to have to go back and check the video because there's only 9. Have I planted one twice? I've definitely took them all out. There's 9 rows now, so we're going to have 9 rows of onions in this bed. I don't know how many onions, well, we've got 8 going across in that bed. We've already got 1 in, so there's going to be 7 across and 9 down of the other onions, and I've probably got enough space in the bed that we've just done for another at least 2, pushing it 3 onion rows. Reality is I'll probably put onions in all of the gaps that I've got all around, because obviously we use them a lot. The onions from last year are still doing absolutely amazing, so really pleased with last year's harvest. It was one of the best ones, along with the leeks, and even though the squash, I'm pointing to where the squash is, the winter baked potato squash were grown, even though they grew fantastically, they stored terribly. So that was learning, as you'll have seen if you've been on any of the other videos that we talk about on gardening. But yeah, the onions were fantastic, so I'm hoping for another really good year for onions. And we had a drought last year, certainly for us here in the northeast of England, we classed it as a drought, and I didn't water any extra or anything like that, and they did fantastically. So fingers crossed for the same result this year. I'm going to rake this over so the chicken doesn't come over and start digging them up before they've had a chance just to settle. I'm not going to water them in or anything like that. It's going to rain no doubt soon enough. So on to the next job. Found it. I'm going to put that in a pot just out of experimenting and see how that does. Well, we're starting to tick them off. I'm going to sow the broad beans next. I'm not going to sow them direct because we do have a problem here with something, whether it's mice, voles, blooming worse, I don't know. And people have given us lots of different advice, which is fantastic. Some of which just isn't practical for us here, and other that we've tried and unfortunately hasn't worked. So we're just going to have to see what this year's got in store. But I'm not going to give it a head start by planting or sowing the broad beans directly into the soil. I am going to use the compost to put them into some of the larger size pots that I've got, and then we'll just leave them get established in there. And then when the weather, they don't even need the weather to warm up, but when the daylight's here and the weather has warmed up a bit, then I'll get them straight outside, keep looking after them indoors until then. They don't need to be in, it's purely because of the mice. So that's going to be next, and I haven't quite decided, keep changing my mind on the first early, so I'm going to sow the broad beans and have a think about those as well, and then we'll get on with a bit more of the physical stuff and get the bean beds weeded and reset there, and then the tomatoes, jalapenos and the other seeds that need putting in. So there's some onion seeds which I'm not actually sure if I've got outside, so I need to have a look for those as well. Someone's just asked, come and look. Oh my goodness, look at those. Snapdragons, that one's a different colour, is it? Is
yeah, there are a variety.
Different ones? Oh look, we're growing nettles down there.
That's not mine.
It's a skill.
Look at my polytunnel, see what's growing. If you'd like to join. Oh my gosh, look at my crocuses! I'm ready for a few days.
Oh wow! I haven't been. Oh my goodness!
Look at that.
Oh god! You're putting us to shame. Oh, how pretty!
Oh my gosh, look at my bulbs, Mum. I'm gonna have to move them. They're getting too big for the roof.
Look at those over there in the distance.
they still haven't got. Oh, that one has one.
What have you got under here?
Parsley and
Goat food.
yeah, goat food.
I'm laughing, I'm watching you walk in, you've got seeds and goat treats. How to sum Grace up?
My geraniums have come through. They need more soil. Oh look! Lobelia! Oh, it's grown! That's the first year I've been able to do that. I'm gonna have to move them. Look, there's thingy in the
What's this? We've got sweet pea, cress, lettuce, cauliflower.
These need to come out.
What's that? Sweet peas?
Yeah, and spinach, but they're going towards the sun, aren't they? Oh, my daffodils are curling.
Yeah, they're reaching for the light.
I'll have to come in here and sort it out now.
Right, next job of the day is to get these beds sorted. Basically, it's weeding and just getting the canes sort of straightened up and stabilised again, ready for planting in. There's some leftovers of the beans with some of the pods left on that obviously either weren't mature or we missed last year. But they'll just go straight onto this compost heap here. This has got animal bedding in from when we dug out some of the beds in the barn recently, so that is obviously not going to be used this year, and we'll just have to get to that, tidy it up, and all of that in good time. I'll add that to the list to the ever-growing list, which I think I've just added about 2 or 3 more things to since I last showed you. Anyway, I'm going to get on with these. I'm not sure how long it'll take. I thought I had another hour or two, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but I have been asked to do a taxi duty for my youngest, so I've got about 40 minutes to get on with this. Oh, look. Oh my goodness.
I didn't mean to disturb it. Watch, some of them are trying to, you can see the flutter.
Really? Is that what they look like? Oh wow, talk about ugly ducklings. Are you sure? They're not trying to eat the ladybird, are they?
Research what ladybird babies look like.
Oh, he's gone past.
I've left a baby out there.
Where?
Here. What you mean? Oh.
Well,
I'll do the other side.
Researched and we think the ladybird eggs, but it's hard to tell because. So we're just going to leave him for now. Oh, where he's gone to? Up his leaf here. He's going to get to the.
His guard. He's watching out for the humans that are disturbing.
Oh.
I'm trying to clean, but you know.
I'm curious as to where he's going to go when he gets to the top. I think he may be out of focus, but. Oh, what a long journey for
A platform on the end.
Maybe he's got a plan. No, no plan.
I'll say,
He's just trying to get out of the house, trying to get away for a bit.
Can't get these things out. Can't reach.
What are the calendula? Last year's?
They're on a station.
Oh.
But they have massive roots. Taking over me daft.
So 3 lavender survived out of 6.
That's not bad.
Very pretty.
You've got soil in your hair.
So have you. Do you see now why I keep getting distracted? When so-and-so's certain madam's out with me. Right, 1 bed done. It's warmed up quite a bit. As you can see, the headband's gone. I'm going to start on the second one. I have got 20 minutes left. 10 minutes left, apparently.
I have. It's all done. Need to get some more bulbs.
I think you've got enough.
Oh, this is Dad's.
All of those in the Polytunnel.
This is my next project.
What are you doing?
I need to. Well, I always take the crust out and clean them, and then rethingy the plants.
Some nice at the back there.
And I'm gonna get
coming through.
Still gonna have a primrose.
Right, we've got 15 of the seed potatoes in, which the variety was the International Kidney. So it's almost half a bed. So basically I've taken them to here because the next row are these onions, which we'll use up, you know, over the next weeks. So I'm going to leave those in. So we've got 15 seed potatoes in there. So almost to the halfway mark. And what I think I might do is put these in the pots that I was talking about, but I think I'll use some of the animal bedding. So where we've got animal bedding that's cold manure, such as the goats and the ducks, I think I'll mix some compost in, maybe some molehills, into some buckets. Last year our neighbour was downsizing and he had a load of garden buckets, and he said, is there any use for these? And even if we don't use them as garden buckets, they're always useful for, Stephen's been using them for doing the renovation of the room that we're doing, to carry out all of the rubble and things like that. Really tough, durable buckets. So I think I'll do that. Not in a mad rush to get those done. Those are just the spares, but at least we've got some in the ground. In the end, we went yesterday, so we got rained off yesterday. It's Sunday now. Grace and I went to our favourite garden centre. So a family run one, and each year we try and buy sort of bits and pieces from there, you know, putting into the local small businesses rather than the big ones. We still do buy from the big ones as well, but where we can, we prefer to do that, and it's absolutely lovely. We love it there. And of course I went in and there was main crop potatoes there, and I couldn't resist them, so I got 10 King Edwards and 10 Mary Piper. So they're going to be our main crops. Didn't go overboard. I didn't walk out with a bag full, which I've done in the past, but I did get a small amount. You sort of pay per kilo of red onions. Couldn't think what the word was then. So we need to get those in as well. Not necessarily now, but again, we'll get those in the onion bed. Probably just enough room on the other side of the bit of wood, the plank of wood that we put down yesterday, to identify where I've sewn up to. So I'm pleased with how we're getting on. At least those first earlies are in, and that can be a separate job because it was about getting them in the ground. So I'm going to tick that off as well. I've putting them in buckets on as another job on there. So I was going to do all of these today. I love the enthusiasm. That's not going to happen. I've put on prune the blueberries as well. I need to check up about that because some of them have already started budding. So because this video will go out before I'm going to get to them, would you recommend pruning the blueberries in the greenhouse now, or should I just leave them and let them do the thing? I think one of them's dead, but we'll have a look at that on the next gardening video. Right now I've got the one job left to get done off the original list, which is finish weeding and resetting those 3 bean beds. I got there's 6 sides basically to do, and I got 3 done yesterday. That's one bed done. So this one was already done. Half of this one was done, so I've just done that. There was absolutely tons in that of kind of weeds, grass and like this basically. So this is the last one that I need to get done. Just tons of the grass as if it's a floating field, and then I just need to take all of the last bits of the beans, the stringy bits down, because I'm not putting those in the bucket. I'll just put those straight into the compost, and then that'll be everything done. You can see there's so much more to do, but we're working on the list. Stephen has just finished the job he's doing, and I have just finished the job I'm doing, so perfect timing. So we're going to go out and catch up and sit down for a bit, although he has been doing a back-breaking job, so I can't complain too much. This is where we're up to. So all of the beds have got all those big horrible weeds out. I will probably go through with the hoe over the next couple of days and just take the tops off. There's a lot of moss on this bed as well, which is a lot of the green, but I've noticed 1 or 2 little shoots that were hiding underneath other things, so we'll be sure to get those out once they pop the heads through. But I'm really pleased with how that's gone, so I'm going to grab my gloves because these were left outside yesterday soaking wet, and then head on inside.
Oh, right. Pint.
Well, I have to say I am thrilled with how far I've got this weekend, even though I had a list of things that I was going to get to today, etc, etc. Basically, there's a list all the time. But if I can plan out a few jobs that I need to get on with and prioritise from that list, then things are going to be good. So I've stuck to the plan. I didn't digress. I'm really, really chuffed to bits. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me for the first proper gardening video of the year for 2026. I hope you're going to join me for the next one. I will see you very soon on another video, hopefully. Bye for now.